Hello, beautiful people. Long time no see. I felt called to come in today and say hello, to check in. I've had a lot of new people come on my page, which I'm so grateful for. So if you are new to my page, welcome. Thank you for joining me in this space. I feel everyone that shares this space with me, and I do not take your like or your follow for granted. I know that everyone that joins here, hi Nicole, you've consciously joined this space, and I feel your presence and I'm grateful for it. And I really see and feel those that connect here. I don't just see those that work with me as clients or that, you know, we have a monetary exchange to work together. Sorry, just a moment. I'm just on a live, darling. Can you get Dad to open it, please? Oh. Come on, darling. Sorry, my son came home all at the same time. So I've just wanted to come on today and share some practices with you and do some work with you if you feel called to do that with me. My goal in life is really to help people to see and feel how simple connecting with spirit and connecting with your own light and connecting with yourself is, and to feel your own sovereignty and feel your own power. There is so much that is going on right now that can trick you into thinking, or you can allow yourself to be tricked into thinking that you have no power here, you have no say here. You're just a pawn in a game, and you're just being moved from point to point to point to point to point, and you have no say, and you have you just feel completely discombobulated, which is one of my favorite words, and you feel completely disorientated by it, and it just feels like it's a steam ball, a ball that's just rolling, and you're just being swallowed whole by it. Hi, Wendy. And you're just being knocked about by it. And I really want to come in today to help you feel a sense of calm, a sense of ease, a sense of there is peace here. There is a sense of ease here, even when everything else seems to be going insane. And I mean, there is so much going on right now that just feels and looks completely ludicrous. It just looks like, is this real? Is this a sci-fi movie? Is this our reality? And if I'm completely honest, it is our reality to a point. It's really quite powerful, and I'm going to speak on this because it feels relevant for people to understand. Hi, Rachel. There's so much that's going on right now that can feel really dense and really heavy, but I really feel called to speak on the fact of that you are multidimensional, multi-leveled being, multi-layered beings that work in many dimensions and many places. But I say that not for you to bypass and skip this part, because you're in a form and you're in this reality for a reason, yeah? It's not by chance or not by a mistake. You actually agreed to come here in this time knowing that there would be a lesson or an experience that would be working through this energy and bringing in the lightness. But as the lightness comes in, the shadow rises up. We can perceive the shadow as a problem. I will share my take on it. The shadow is not a problem. The shadow is an aspect of yourself that I did. Hi, Rhiannon. And the shadow is a part of us that is powerful, that has so much medicine and so much wisdom and so much fuck yeah in it, really, if I'm completely honest. But with the shadow comes the pain, comes the heartache, comes the fear, comes the grief, comes the anger, and all those kind of things. And when it comes up, we can perceive it through our mind and through our emotions that something is going wrong, and I need to fix it or I need to suppress it, which is a chronic presentation in humans as a whole, generally, especially in the Western world, is suppress, carry on. You don't feel that, deny it, just soldier on, push. But the light is coming up within us, right? We so often talk about the light coming from an outside source and the light up here and the light over there and all that. And I speak on that too. But what I really want to encourage more people to understand is the light, the core light, the powerful light, the pure light is coming from within you, right? You are the one. You are the power. You are the light. It is not an external source. It is not an external place. You are it. And we wait so often for the downloads to happen or the energy to come in to shift whatever it is for us, right? And we can just wait for this amazing thing to come in and rescue us or to fix us or fix it and make it all better and make it all. I'm not begrudging that feeling. I'm not begrudging that desire. But what I am speaking on in this moment in time is you feeling into the fact that you can have that download and that knowing and that experience and that light every moment of every day. You no longer, I'm wanting you to question your beliefs around this. You no longer have to wait for this big pouring in of light to have that experience. You no longer have to wait for that big charge of energy or photon, like, or whatever, to come in for you to have that euphoric and that activating and that illuminating experience. You are the power. You are the light. And when you start to remember that, you start to go, I'm not going to stop my life waiting for this to happen or that to happen or that experience to come into me and that person to work with and this thing over here. You're no longer starting your life. You're allowing and understanding the way that you naturally work. And from there, that light is doing it. You are doing it all of the time, every moment of every day. It's just your brain doesn't understand and can tend to get in the way because we allow it to. Right? So there's so much that is going on right now that you are unlearning, undoing. Not because it's wrong, not because it's right, but because as we return to ourselves at our core, at our light, at our pure resonance, our home resonance, we will go back through our physical symptoms, our mental symptoms, our energetic symptoms, and we'll go through them again and again. And that's why we'll come back and meet it again, and we'll think, oh my God, it's the same thing again. I can't believe it. I've done all this stuff. I must have done something wrong. You're not meeting that part of you as the same version of you anymore. Although it may have the pangs of it, you may have the feeling of it, you're not the you were then, and neither is the energy. But the brain will perceive it as that because it has a very basic kind of scaffold and it's a basic understanding of it. But when you tap into your consciousness, your divine intelligence, you start to see it from a much wider view. But what I'm speaking of is you being able to do that within your body. No longer skipping out to the ethos to do that. No longer floating off to Never Land to do that. But staying in your body, staying in your presence, understanding that you are in every dimension, every reality, every existence that ever was and ever will be in this moment now. And you have the power always and forevermore and always have. So when you feel that and you see that and you know that, you can either feel completely overwhelmed or you can feel completely relieved or you can feel a mixture of all of the above. That's okay. But coming back to simplification, the simple light, the simple you, the basics, no more complication, no more worrying, no more charging it up, no more looking for the hit or the high to get that feeling that is activated from an outside source, but the feeling that is within you from a place that it takes in your whole self, your whole being, and it honors every aspect of you rather than only acknowledging and celebrating one part of you while denying and begrudging and judging and suppressing another part of you. When you do this work and you tap into your light and you tap into your power, it is all inclusive of every aspect of yourself and every other soul and being and sentient being and planet and ethos and everywhere else in between. It is inclusive of all of it, and it doesn't judge. It doesn't belittle. It stays in that neutrality and that wholehearted self all of the time, in all ways and on all levels. And then there is a sense of breath, freedom. So whatever is playing out, you see it in that place of a wider view, but you are also present to your human experience. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a lot of words, I know, and I'm talking about simplification with a lot of words. The irony is not lost to me, I assure you. That's the way that it is. It's quite funny, really. So I wanted to bit of practice with you for you to start feeling, because I can feel so many of you have felt your light. You can't be human and be who you are without having felt it, right? Because it's just a natural way. But what happens over time is we disconnect from it, or we suppress it, or we deny it, or whenever an experience comes in that brings it back online, we're scared of it because we're scared of ourselves and we're scared of our power. If I'm honest, we can see that, we can believe that we're scared of everything else outside of us, where in fact our human self, our brain especially, is scared of this powerful self because it doesn't understand it. It can't break it down. It can't diagnose it. It can't label it as this and that because it doesn't understand it yet. It's not meant to. Yeah, it's just not meant to. It's, this particular part, hi Jenny, of you is beyond the brain's comprehension. And so it will try and diagnose it at this and that and this and that, and then it goes, oh my God, I can't. And so it kind of short circuits and then tries to shut you down. That's okay. That's the way the brain works. That doesn't mean it's doing you a disservice or there's anything wrong with it. That's just all it knows to do. So when we start to understand that and work with it and accept it and honor it, it changes it from being resistance and you're bad, like you've stopped me and you're doing this kind of things like, oh, you've had a really hard time with this. I'm sorry you've had a really hard time with this. Let's try it another way. And you start to have a really conscious union and relationship with all of the facets of yourself that honor every part of yourself. And you start to celebrate the strengths of the brain, strengths of the body, and the strengths of the soul, and they work in unison, right? So part of you letting yourself feel your light more often starts to let the brain understand it as well, because the brain wants more information than you're giving it. And so if we start the big journey of excuse me, of spirituality, right? And we walk along the path and then we wonder why we have trip ups and we wonder why we take 10 steps forward and 12 steps back, yeah? And we're wondering what's going on there because we try to drag the brain along. We try and drag the parts of us that are scared, that don't understand, that want us to stay or like it just the way that it is. And I don't know about you, but if you try and do that with another person, it's never going to work. It's the same for us. If we're trying to access, or we can feel the pull or the energy to go and access these particular parts of ourselves or embody these parts of ourselves, and we're not taking the time to acknowledge and honor and ask for those parts of ourselves what they need or what's going on with them, we will constantly be tripped up and feel like we're overwhelmed and lost and we're a failure. When the truth is we're not a failure, we've just done it a kind of back to front way at certain times, right? So asking your brain, is it okay to connect in with your light? Simple practice, I know, but it helps. So we'll do a bit of a practice around that, and you can see how your brain feels when you ask it, because if it says no, I don't like it, or it's scared or whatever, rather than going, well, we're going to do it anyway, we'll feel it. We'll do a bit of practice with it, so you can see how much they're having a bit of a push and pull, Mexican standoff at certain times, yeah, where one goes, well, I know this is going to work out really well, and the other part's like, well, I don't. Yeah, so if you're in a space that you can sit down, ideally sitting, not lying, because you're more conscious when you're sitting up, and when you're lying down, you can you get unconscious and not as connected to the process or what is actually going on for you, so that you don't remember it, and then it just turns into kind of gobbledygook and doesn't actually land into your understanding. And when you start to let it land in your cognitive mind as well as your divine intelligence and your body, that's when things start to really, really shift. But in a way, I mean, I'll always work in this way. I'll always work in the pace that is resonant and relevant for the individuals that I work with. I'm not big on, it's so important to honor the fact that so often, especially as empaths or light workers or whatever star seeds, whatever you would term yourself, if you term yourself anything at all, we can see the light in others, which is a beautiful, beautiful gift. But what happens so often is we can see the light in that person, but we so often deny or ignore the human in front of us. And that is a disservice and quite cruel, if I'm honest, to that person in front of us. Unless we acknowledge and love the human in front of us, yeah, you can come back, Gabby, that's fine. Yep. What we're doing is skipping right to this, and then we're going, that's great, and we're flooding the human. And that just affirms for that human that it's worthy of being scared, and it's no wonder that doesn't trust themselves or the process or connecting in, and it will just, any other opportunity after that, they go, no. I tried it the last time and it was disastrous. I hated it. I'm so scared now, and I can see why I'm scared, and they've got an actual proof of pudding, yeah, that it's scary and it's dangerous and I don't like it. So you starting to honor your human, that's okay, and starting to work with them with love and consciousness and patience allows it to happen in the pace that it's ideally going to, not in the way you think it should, right? Not in the way you think it's supposed to be successful or to get to that place, but an understanding that your timing is your timing. Your way is your way. And if you resist or fight your natural being and your natural evolution, you're fighting against the tide, if I'm completely honest. And we all have an agenda in our lives, and we all have goals, and that's all well and good. And we will all have expectations and all of those kind of things. But what can happen so often is we can put ourselves in a container and limit ourselves by putting that on and keeping ourselves in that space. And if we don't meet that mark, that means we've failed, right? And so we're self-predicting our own failure there. we're self-predicting that, okay, I haven't reached this point yet. That means I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm wrong, or there's all this kind of stuff. We'll look for opportunities to affirm that we're wrong. We'll look for the opportunities to affirm that we're failures, or we can never do what our big goal is, or what our vision is, or what spirit has shown us. And we'll keep the same behaviors going. And this is where the programming, the subconscious of our brain, and understanding it is so, so important, because when you start to understand that, you realize that, yes, you are a really smart person, but you're also working with a program here that is pretending it's the backseat driver when it's the front seat driver. And when you start to listen to the words you use and the actions that you take, you understand that wasn't through my divine intelligence, that was through my programming. So you start to, it all breaks down from there. Not breaks, you don't fall apart, but you start to go, that's why, and you breathe. All right, so we're going to do this practice, and you can feel it for yourselves and see if it's something that you'd like to add into your lives. I'm not insulted if you don't wish to add this to your lives, but I can feel that it would be beneficial for you. Yeah. All right, so if you're in a space that you can close down your eyes, please do, and I'll just guide you to go through this process. It doesn't take very long, and we'll just feel it as we go. So just closing down your eyes ever so gently and taking in some beautiful breaths in through your nose. And then letting it go with a sigh, letting your shoulders soften and your spine relax, and doing it 2 more times. Breathing in all the way down to your perineum or to your base chakra, and then letting it go with a sigh. Really letting out a really audible sigh, really letting out any stale air or any tension. And doing it 1 more time. All the way down to your base chakra, down to your perineum, and just holding it there for a moment, and then letting it go with an audible sigh. That's it. Letting your jaw soften, letting your eyelids become heavy, and just feeling yourself in this moment, wherever you're sitting, whatever you're doing. Feeling yourself in your room or feeling yourself outside, noticing how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically. Are you in pain physically? Are you in pain emotionally? Are you feeling joyful? Are you feeling confused? Whatever you're feeling, how's your energy feeling? There it is. Okay, just notice without labeling or diagnosing it rather as right or wrong, good or bad. And if there's discomfort coming up, just taking a breath. Let that breath come in and support you and alleviate any tension that you are experiencing or that is coming up as you start to allow that quiet and you allow yourself to feel and hear and know yourself. What's going on for you today? What's going on for you in this moment? Is it very busy? Is there emotions that are coming up that you don't even understand why they're coming up? And is that a problem? There it is. Just let it all come up, up, up. Using your breath if more tension comes up. And just feeling yourself landing even more into your body, into this moment. Feeling your room still be there, but start to get bigger and bigger. Letting all of the world outside just be packed away just for this time that you're connecting in with yourself. And if it helps you to feel safe or stable, placing your hand in your body somewhere, over your heart or on your thighs or wherever is going to support you. Take care of you. Just calling your energy back from every timeline, dimension and space. Trusting in that your light and your being and your knowing transmutes anything that feels heavy or dense as it comes back to you now. So that all of you is present. Understand and trust that even if you're not feeling anything here, it is still happening, and your higher self, your soul, is taking care of you. That's it. Let it all come back in, back in, back in, all the way in. Notice if there's places that you're still like, I don't want to call that back in, and just let there be a softness, a gentleness. Taking a breath, there you go, feeling that ease there. Now we're going to ask your brain, Is it okay to connect with your light? And I want you to notice your first answer, your first response. Is it a yes? Is it a flat out no? Does fear rise up? Does anger rise up? Does excitement rise up? Or is it a mixture of all of the above? And whatever comes up energetically, physically, emotionally, psychologically, let your love go there. Let your love wrap those emotions or those feelings or your brain or whatever it is with your love. Notice how effortlessly your love generously, excitedly comes up and says, of course I can do that. I gratefully do that. I love doing that. And remembering to breathe here as your love energy goes to those places that feel whatever they're feeling, whether it be anger, whether it be joy, whether it be sadness, whether it be elation, whatever. There it is. Even more. Let your breath move through your love frequency and ask even more, or allow even more to come up and move through. That's it. Thank you. Taking in a few breaths here. Now ask yourself, am I safe to connect to my light? And please, whatever your answer is, even if you don't like the answer you get, let it be what it is. Notice how quickly you slip into judgment around it, whatever it is. It doesn't need that. Let it be. You don't need that. Taking in a few breaths here. Now we're going to ask your light to start to grow. I really want to reassure you here, as is with any exchange that you have with anyone, be it in the 3D realm, energetic realm, you get to choose the pace. So often we can feel like the person that is holding space for us is the leader of our sovereignty and the leader of our light. They are not. You are. You are the leader of your world, the leader of your way, the leader of your experience. No more handing your power over to any other being, soul, energy, reality in any way, shape or form. Start to feel this strength. Start to feel this knowing. So as I guide you, you choose the pace that you go. If you wish to slow down, slow down. If you wish it to be little sparks rather than big sparks, let it be so. You are not going to miss out on anything if you're not where I am. Trust your own path. So feel into your heart in this moment, and maybe if you feel called to do so, placing your hand over your heart or your hands over your heart, and ask your light to be shown to you. Now you may see it, you may feel it, you may know it, you may imagine it, or you may not have anything going on at all. That's okay, it's still doing it. We're going to ask your light, if it hasn't already, I can feel for some of you it has already, to start growing, to start glowing. Now if it starts to really come out really fast, because it will for some of you, it's like, oh my God, I get to finally come out, she gets to see me, he gets to see me. Take a breath and say, slow down, take your time. But if you feel safe and you wish for it to come out in that way, let it. You can choose as you go. Now as that light ripples out, notice the places that it wants to go to first, because it will always have places it wants to go to first, and it may be different. It will usually be different each time you do this. Remember your breath. Ask even more if it feels aligned to do so. More light to come out, more light to come out, more light. There you go. Let my light rise. Let my light grow. Let my light expand. Let my light multiply. Let my light fill every cell and every part of me to transmute and shift all that is dense, all that is heavy, all that is not of me or for me. Let it show me the way. Let it show me and let it see, allow me to see what I cannot see. Let it allow me to trust the process. Let it support me in trusting myself. I accept what it says. I accept what it shows me. I accept that it is for my highest good, for it is me. There you go. Letting more out, more out, more out. Letting it move through every cell. All of your blood, all of your bones, all of your skin, all of your muscles, into your brain, into your hair, into your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your tongue, your cheeks, your skin, into your energetic field, the soles of your feet, your thighs, your buttocks, your calves, your shins, your digestive organs, your womb space, your base chakra, your lower back, your higher heart. There it is. Really let it go there. Beautiful. Into your throat and everywhere in between. Now ask for that light, if it feels aligned and safe to do so, to become brighter. I give my light permission to get as bright as it is in my natural state. I accept myself as this. I accept myself at my most expansive and a luminous self. And your vibration naturally rises. You are not forcing it, you're not pushing it, you have no expectations. It naturally does what it does because this is the way of it. Taking in some breaths here, letting it go again. Beautiful. Watch how easily that occurs for you now. Notice how much your brain accepts this process in this moment. And if there is resistance or if there is tension, let that be what it is. It's okay. If you've never done anything like this before, it's a practice makes perfect. The more you get used to it, the more effortlessly it will happen. It's just like exercise in that way. Beautiful. There you go. Let it go out. Now allow it to expand out and out and out as far as it wants to go, out past your room, out past wherever you are, your home or a building or in the park. Let it go out and out and out across your town, across your state, across the country, across the world, out into the universe. And notice if you want to call it back to you now, and you can. This is your experience. You get to choose how it is. You've not let anyone down if you haven't done it in the way that I've described. You haven't gotten anything wrong. Let yourself experience yourself in the way that you need to experience it. Be kind, be patient, be loving, be accepting. You are worthy of this. There they are. Just sending yourself, those parts of you that are in doubt or are scared or anxious, just sending them so much love. They deserve it. You deserve it. Notice if there's resistance to it and just taking in some breaths there too. There they are. So just taking in a few more breaths here. Just sitting in this for a moment longer. Notice the tendency to want to rush back to life as you've known it. And just give yourself permission to slow down, to rest here a while longer, to take your time. Notice how it feels when you give yourself permission to do it this way. And then when you're ready, just gently, gently touching your legs, touching your face, touching your body, bringing some gentle movements into your fingers, into your toes, moving your head from side to side. And when you're ready, only when you're ready, opening your eyes. Notice how you feel now compared to the way that you felt before. When we start to pay attention to the information and the proof that it's actually doing something, your brain starts to affirm and understand that it's real. It's not just something woo-woo and out there. It starts to see the signs, see the symptoms, see the information, and take that information in and respect it in the way that it deserves. It understands that it's tangible, it's real, it's physical, it's energetic, it's emotional, it's on all levels and all ways. And it starts to feel safe and secure in it as well. And it starts to understand it and the process, and is open to you trying and doing more things, of you reconnecting to yourself. And that's really, really important when we honor all the aspects of self and all the parts of us. And it starts to feel safe and secure and actually excited about doing it rather than resistant to it. And that's when things really start to change, and there's a willingness in a very, very different way, which is powerful to say the least. So I hope that that helped in some way. If you joined, let me know if you did it with me today on the live, or whether you join on later and you do the practice. I'd love to hear how you went. And I really want to assure you, if you had resistance to it, or you were uncomfortable with it, or there were certain parts you were like, I don't even know what's going on here, it's practice makes perfect, just like anything. We so often assume because it's spiritual, I should just know how to do it. I should do and it's just so unfair to ourselves to be like that, right? Would you expect yourself just to know how to do ballet, right? Would you expect yourself just to know how to do the splits or run a marathon? No, that's a practice thing. So showing up for yourself more often than not and doing things like this gives yourself the opportunities to try and learn the way that you do it in your own way. Because when you start to understand the way your system works and the way that you connect in and the way that you see, feel, know what you like, what you resist, what's uncomfortable, all those kind of things, then you start to understand how to do it in your own way. That's okay, Wendy. And then there's a kindness and a compassion for yourself, and a willingness to try and make mistakes sometimes. That's okay, Jenny. That's good. I'm pleased. And you're like, okay, if it's not comfortable sometimes, or you make mistakes, it's like, that's all part of it. It's okay. It's part of it. So I hope that added something to your life. I hope that added something to your Sunday. And I really, 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 really hope more than anything that you start to consciously connect with your light and start to value it and honor it as much as you look to and aspire to and celebrate the light around us and from external sources or other people. When you start to celebrate and honor your own light of your own self, it's so, so, so freeing. And you start to understand and celebrate how amazing you truly, truly are. And you are. You just are. You were created that way. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anything for that to happen. So I feel that for you, but I want you to feel that for yourself. Thanks, Jenny. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm just reading. That felt so amazing. I feel taller. And didn't realize how much fear and density was sitting there from the bottom. Oh, that's beautiful, Rhiannon. I'm so pleased. Thank you. My brain said no, but I was still... See, I love that. You're all like tapping in, able to do it gently and remind us. Beautiful. That's awesome, Rachel. Thank you. Jumped on just right. Yeah, beautiful. Awesome, Amy. Love that. Thank you so much. It was so needed. My brain has been yeah, that's the thing. I so hear you, Megan, about the brain being on overload. So this practices like this and connecting in with yourself in that way will really, really help. It's understandable that everyone's brain's in that way, right? So less about fighting it and less going, okay, it's overwhelmed. What can we bring in today to do that? And that's a simple thing to do. Yeah. Okay. Mwah. Much love. Bye.